Hello everybody, this is Gareth Coon speaking back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar and give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. Or otherwise you can look me up on YouTube, TikTok and X. Especially YouTube and X, you'll be able to see the videos that get banned elsewhere, and you'll also be able to look up my created playlists so you see the videos that I watch when I'm not posting on YouTube myself. This one here is called Edom is a Real Place, a word about the brother who watched. Twice now I have left a man standing at the end of a page without telling you who he was. In two earlier words to the Christians drifting from Israel, I ended on the same figure, Edom, the brother who stood on the other side and watched his brother bleed. And each time I let him stand there and walked away. A warning is not an explanation, so let me go back for him. He deserves the whole indictment. Start with the thing that makes the whole story unbearable. Edom was Esau, the twin Isaac's firstborn, Jacob's own brother, raised at the same table, heir to the same covenant that ran from Abram. There was no grudge between foreign nations. There were two boys in one household, and the rupture between them did not begin with a war. It began with a meal. You remember it? Esau came in from the field faint with hunger, and Jacob had pottage, and Esau wanted it enough to trade it. Hear what he traded. Genesis chapter 25 verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. He sold the covenant for a bowl of soup and went his way, as though nothing of weight had changed hands. There is the seed of Edom, and the sin that grows from it is one sin. Treating a sacred thing as though it were ordinary. Everything Edom does afterwards is that first decision grown up. Now watch it grow. Generations later, Israel came up out of Egypt, warned from the wilderness, and asked Edom for nothing but a road, the king's highway, with the promise to pay for the water they drank. Numbers chapter 20 tells you the answer the brother gave. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. Israel did not force it. The text says Israel turned away from him. But mark what happened. The brother has refused. The brother on a road. The coldness is setting like concrete, and it goes on setting century by century until it reaches the day the prophets could not forgive. That day was the fall of Jerusalem, when the foreigner broke the city and carried her people off. Edom was there, not at first with a sword, but the way a man is there at the edge of a fight. He has decided it's not his to stop. Obadiah is where this is settled, and it is a strange little book, 21 verses, the shortest in the Old Testament, and God spent the whole of it on one man's conduct on one day. Not a treatise on a nation, on the nations, one indictment of one bystander, and when you read the charge, watch where the accusation actually falls. Obadiah verse 11. In that day thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away the captives. His forces and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou waste, as one of them. Read it again and find the accusation, because it is not where you expect it. God does not charge Edom with breaching the wall. The strangers entered the gates and cast the lots. Edom's crime is two words in the middle. Thou stoodest. He stood on the other side and watched, and the verse collapses the distance he thought he was keeping. Even thou wast as one of them. The man who only watched was counted with the man who did it. Heaven kept no gentler category for the bystander. The next verse presses the knife further. Every line of it goes after the bystander saw and what he saw. Obadiah verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of thy distress. Looking, gloating, talking, the whole charge sheet is sin of the spectator who is picked aside in his heart. And let it show. And the other prophet naming Edom's guilt named the same thing. The psalmist by the rivers of Babylon does not ask God to remember what Edom built or burned. He asks him to remember what Edom said. Psalm 137 verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Who said the cheering from the sidelines, and Amos had already fixed the crime in the phrase, Edom pursued his brother and cast off all pity, and kept his wrath forever. The brother who will not stop hating the brother, that is Edom. But now I want to do what the first two words did not, and take you out of the text and onto the ground. Because here's the thing most Christians never learn about Edom. He is not only a symbol, he is a place you can drive to him. Edom was a real kingdom on real dirt in what is now southern Jordan, and its strongholds still stand. Go to a mountain the ancients called Selah. The word simply means the rock, and you will find an Edomite fortress on a sandstone summit rising 600 feet off the valley floor, reached by a single stair cut into this cliff of men who built it because they believed no army would ever climb it. They built their safety into the heart and felt untouchable. Then history answered that confidence carved into the sheer rock of that same mountain, roughly 300 feet up the steepest face. There is a relief, a carved image and a long inscription, and it is not Edomite, it is Babylonian. It is the image of Nabonidus, king of Babylon, with the symbols of his gods around him. But there, in the 6th century before the Messiah, by the very empire that came and took the fortress that thought it could not be taken, the conqueror climbed the unclimbable rock and signed it. The relief is set so high in the sheer that the scholars who finally studied it had to reach it on ropes. But it is there, a foreign king's face carved into the cleft of the brother who thought his height made him safe, looking down where the Edomites used to look down. Come back for part 2 of this post in the next video. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.